I think financial pressure is one of the worst pressures like I've ever been through.
G'day guys, welcome back to another episode of Level Up. We are back in the shed this afternoon for another cracking episode. I'm really looking forward to this one. I think it's going to be a lot of energy. The young fella that we've got for you today, I'm really keen to dig in and see what he's got going on. He's only 27 years old. He's running and built up his own hire business. He was a carpenter. Well, he did his time as a carpenter, worked for a builder, and then took the leap out on his own and started a hire business. And from what I can see, is kicking goals. But let's jump into it with Grant from Fortress Hire. How are you, mate?
Thanks for having me. Yeah, definitely.
Mate, we know you're a little bit nervous, but that's all good.
Yeah,
that's all good.
Yeah.
No one's watching or listening to this, so it's all good. But no, I lie. We are Australia's number one construction podcast now, so not long, well, almost at 200,000 downloads across all our channels, so it's going really well. But mate, I'm not sure where to start with you. Like, how did you go from doing an apprenticeship, becoming a carpenter, and then starting a hire business?
So I finished my apprenticeship when I was 20, and then the builder I was working for, did my apprenticeship with, he said, you can go on an hourly rate for me if you want, or you can subcontract to me. And so I did that for 2 years. Well, no, I did that for 5 years, but because I ran them side by side for a bit, and because the carpentry is what really funded the whole hire company.
Yeah.
And
so where did the idea come from? Like, what made you want to get into hire?
So acro props. So I was doing these two houses side by side, one modern house, one Hampton's house, and obviously I had to measure up all the steel posts and everything to get them made at the steel shop. And the builder was hiring acro props for multi-hire, and it didn't tweak with me until that job. We were using them on every single job, 2 per job for the back al fresco, front porch. And but this job required, 10? And I said to him, how much do you rent the acro props off multi-hire for? And he's like, oh, it's like $10 a week or something like that. Then tipped in my head, and they were here for 6 weeks until the bricky got there.
Yeah, $10 each. 10.
So $100, and I thought, that's a little bit extra money on the side. I'm at the jobs anyway.
Well, when you think that an acro prop, what does an acro prop cost you?
$100.
$100?
Yeah. And I was like, be great, just a little side thing. And then I got carried away. And I said, who does your fencing? How much is that? And so I had my main chippy. I had a little 2000 model Toyota Hilux and got some fencing and started doing the fencing jobs, putting it on the Hilux and doing that. And I had a bit of money saved up from the contracting, just putting it away. And I looked at toilets and I was like, nah, there's no money in that. And kept doing the fencing, acro props. And then I re-looked at the toilets. And I went on alibaba.com. And
that's everything. You can fucking buy anything on there.
Then I FaceTimed the factory in China. And I was FaceTiming them. And I made, her name is Cherry, made her take me through the whole factory, how they were built, how they were blow molded, and put my order in for Alibaba. It was like $2,000 or something, and they all come flat packed, and got them here, and started hiring them out to that builder. And then the second builder I got, I ordered another container. And I had a meeting with him, and I said, what can I do to, he had 40 job sites. And I said, mate, if you pick them toilets up that you got on site right now, I'll give you free delivery, free pickup, and 2 weeks free hire. Now, the value to him, he's got 40 job sites, 2 weeks free hire, adds up for him. And he said, yeah. So I went round dropping them all off with a big trailer, and yeah, that's how I got started.
No, it's unreal. So for anyone that's listening, Grant does. So it's Fortress Hire. You're
Yeah.
in southeast Queensland.
Yeah.
You do builders fencing, pool fencing.
Pool fencing, temporary fencing, acro props, trestles, planks, British trestles. We also do skip bins. Skip bins are our biggest items. I don't own one skip bin though. I use 3 different providers, and we have good relationships. And I can offer that service with the skip hire there.
So you basically do you do a package? Like this might, it probably sounds like a funny question, but we have all of our own temporary fencing.
Yeah.
We have all of our own pool fencing. We have all of our own brickies, scaffolding, trestles, planks, and those types of things. But I would imagine for a builder that may be starting out or maybe doesn't have the storage or for whatever reason, like it's a pretty good, like if they can come to someone like yourself and you do a package deal,
yeah,
like that's a pretty good setup.
That's what I wanted to become, and that's how I got into the skip bins. And then we also do temporary power poles too.
Yeah.
For a third party provider, because I wanted them to do one phone call, and just book everything in.
Yeah.
And it's been a massive blessing doing it like that, because that it doesn't lock them in. It makes it easy for them.
So there's no carpenter anymore.
No, I gave that up July last year.
Yeah, right. So you've done it right up till now.
Yeah.
So what you were employing people to do this stuff, and you were keeping the carpentry going to fund
the
growing of the business.
So that I was putting in all the money from the carpentry to the hire company, because at the start there's so much capital expense.
Yep.
And it just kept fun. I wouldn't have been able to do it without the carpentry. There was no way on earth. Like, you can't go out and get loans straight away with a fresh business to buy that capital expense.
I think this is an awesome conversation because so many people, I believe there's so many people in this world that have incredible ideas, but they don't have the balls to do what you've done. So many people, it's all perception. Like people would look at you and probably thought you had your hire business and had no idea that you're actually doing a second job of carpentry to keep to build the business and be able to fund the business.
Well, I'll put everything from the carpentry into that.
Yeah.
And then credit cards too.
Yeah.
I was using credit cards because I could get a big credit card with the carpentry, and then I was using that credit card to buy hire equipment, and people don't see them struggles, and you stress it. I don't care really what anyone says. I think financial pressure is one of the worst pressures I've ever been through.
Well, it's a pressure you have to go through and experience to be able to have growth. Yeah. And the thing is, you've got to learn from it. But like people ask me all the time, like, how have I done everything that we've done? And like, we have our software business, QuoteEaze.
Yeah.
Like, I've talked about it a lot, but still a lot of people don't know. Like, we funded that from our building business to a point where we actually couldn't fund it anymore to get the growth we wanted. So we sold our family home to build that. And we didn't have to do that. Like, our building business was successful. So we didn't have to take the risk of selling our family home, putting all the money into the software and doing that, but we did.
But you leveraged it and you believed in it.
Yeah, and we did it. Yeah. And it's the same thing what Amelia and I have done with Live Like Build. Like, we've only, like, people look at Live Like Build and how successful that business is being, and again, it's all perception. Like, Amelia and I have only started taking a reasonable salary this year, and that business is 3.5 years old. Like, when you're starting a business, or if you have a great idea, or you're passionate about something, you've got to have. I'm not sure what it is, but like, so many people get put off because you have to do your day job from whatever hours, and the other business or the other idea has to grow after hours. So people get put off by thinking they have to, like, their passion is a new idea, and they want to do the new idea because they maybe don't like their day job. So they battle with it, and then their idea ends up they give up on it because they realise that they have to do their day job and that it all gets too much.
People give up way too early.
Yeah.
They do something for 2-3 years. It's not working out. Like Fortress could have failed 20 times over.
Yep.
Financially.
Yep.
If the carpentry wasn't there, and if I wasn't doing both of them at the same time.
Yep.
And
It's
if
huge,
I
mate.
did, you only fail when you give up.
100%.
And like everyone gives up, so they do something for 2-3 years, and it doesn't. They think it's not working, and then they give up.
Yep.
Right, and they start something else, and that goes for 2 or 3 years. 10 years down the line, they've got nothing.
They keep pulling the pin.
You just focus on one thing, do it right, and just keep going, keep pushing. If you really believe in it, it will happen. Like you will make it happen. No one else is going to make it happen.
Yeah, and there's
I'm not there yet. I'm not there. Like there's still.
Got to keep pushing.
But there's still what I was saying to Shay before. Cash flow's still tight because you're buying so much gear all the time. Like you're always buying gear, and I'm not going to lie about that. Like you're always buying gear, and cash flow's still tight. Like I'm not going to make out like I'm got money when I haven't. Like I'll just keep pushing.
We're the same with our QuoteEaze software, mate. Like I want it to be the best in the industry, and so
you're reinvesting.
We're just constantly reinvesting. So we actually have not pulled a wage or a profit from that business since it began, and that's 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
And I got no problem saying that because, like I said, every cent that business makes is just going back into redevelopment, keeping it going, making it better.
If you pull a wage from that, though, you're stunting the growth for that business.
Yeah.
So that's what I was doing with the carpentry. I wasn't drawing a wage, and then the carpentry was paying some of the guys' wages in the hire company, and then it got to a stage where the focus went more from the carpentry to the hire company, and guess what happened then? Vice versa. So the hire company was then paying some of the doctors. Then I had builders streaming me out with the carpentry. It was just a shit time there, and that was fun in that, and that was complementing that. I kept the carpentry going for longer than what I needed to, because I had my main chippy in there, and I wanted to bring him across, but it wasn't the right time.
Yeah.
But then I just realised that I was funding that wage anyway. But they were both complementing each other.
Yeah, but it must be exciting. You obviously got to a point last year, and you've canned the carpentry, and now you're just full steam ahead on Fortress Hire.
100%. 100%.
But mate, where's in this podcast? I want to dig deep. Like, where does that come from? Like, I want to give people
the drive,
real life advice from a person that has personally done it. Like, you're only 27 years old. Like, how have you got that mindset to do what you've done?
Look, I don't want to say this, but I give a lot of credit to my brother.
Yeah. You mentioned your brother. Like, that's one of the notes I had for you today. Like,
yeah,
that's a pretty big thing to have someone close by that you can look up to.
Yeah, definitely. So he did his carpentry apprenticeship. I did part of my apprenticeship with him. Through that builder, they subbed me to him, and so he was working 7 days a week when I was in school, and just saving. He just kept saving, kept going, and the work effort. And then when I started my apprenticeship, I went and did some work for a concreter, and nobody wants to work for this concreter. Like, he's grumpy as. I love him though. Like, he's just awesome. And he goes, "You got a name to live up to," and I was like, and that sort of gives you the motivation to push forward as well. I'm not saying I haven't got my own motivation, but like when you've got people around you pushing forward and going for it, it rubs off on you. And yeah.
So I was having another conversation on the phone today. A guy reached out to me, wanted some advice, and I was talking to him about fear. Like as humans, like we only operate in love or fear.
Yeah.
Like that's the only two ways. So it doesn't matter what else you think. In reality, you're either operating from fear or you're operating from love.
Yeah.
And it's the fear that tends to hold 99% of people back
Yeah.
because they let that fear control their decisions. So is that something you battle with, or have you overcome, or like 'cause
Fear?
yeah,
Every day. Every day. Like, I feel like I could be way more forward than what I am if I wasn't scared to move forward.
What do you think? Where do you think the fear comes from? Like, is it? I know for a lot of people, it's security. Like, a lot of people want the security of a paycheck or having money in the bank, and they're scared if they risk that, they'll go back to how they grew up or how their parents were or any of those types of things. Like, is it the fear of losing the money?
A little bit. Look, to be honest, my family is like they're all against debt, like completely against debt. My brother, my mum, my dad, those like, and they subconsciously they knock me down a little bit because they say, your whole company should be paying you by now. There should be, you should be doing well out of it. You're putting all this work, you're putting all this money, and yeah, some of them said sell it. Some of them, and I feel disrespected when they say that because like
I'm hearing you, mate.
Makes me feel like shit. It honestly makes me feel like shit.
Yeah,
and just because it's something they don't believe in, that's something I believe in. I know it's gonna work. I know what it's doing now per month. It wouldn't be doing that if I didn't keep that, because they say, why are you reinvesting all the money? Why? I say, well, it wouldn't be at this stage now if I didn't reinvest it a year ago, 2 years ago. It wouldn't be doing what it's doing now. And then what's it going to be doing in 2 years' time? Do you know what I mean? If I stop reinvesting it now, I'm only going to be doing what I'm doing now, potentially. So
what you're talking about now, like, I want to get up and give you a hug, mate. Like, what you're doing now is what holds most people back.
Yeah.
It's fear of, like, because I struggle with this a lot as well. I talk about it quite openly. Like, we're all brought up. Like, I'm so passionate about this. I know I bang on about it all the time, but fuck, I'll say it again. But like, I truly believe that 90, 95, even 99% of people on this planet are not living their life.
Not at all.
Because of what you just said.
Yeah.
Because of the way we're brought up, the beliefs, religions, everything that gets discussed in our families growing up. And then when you do get to an age where you can go and work and run your own race and do your own thing, you feel like you've got that constant battle of everyone's.
You feel like the black sheep. If you step out the range, what they believe in, and it's what they believe in. And my mum admitted it without even like knowing it. She said to me, "Oh, I'm just scared because I haven't done that before."
Yeah.
And that's exactly why.
And it's good. Like, it's good that family and friends worry about you.
Yeah.
But so many people let comments and outside influences from family, friends, even social media and shit determine the outcome of their life.
Yeah, definitely. And this is no offense at all to anybody, but like, if you take advice from certain people, like, you look at their life and you evaluate that and you go, all right, are they where I want to be?
Yeah.
So am I going to take that advice?
You're in control of this podcast, mate. You are dropping bombs. I can tell you listen to the real Brad Lee because you're dropping bombs.
I do.
But you're 100% on the money. Like, and like, I think the other part of that is, like, I think everybody needs to be, like, everybody has a certain level of comfort.
Yeah.
And so some people might stress a lot about money. Some might stress about working too many hours. Like, everybody's different. But 9 times out of 10, like, this is what we see with our Live Like Build members, because of all the stuff Amelia and I teach them. Like, when people get the right advice and the right community and the right documents and templates and processes and systems, you'll find that your comfort level rises. So the thing is, like, you will never ever get to where you want to be if you continue to do what you're doing now.
The same actions.
Yeah. So you need to surround yourself with people that are where you want to be or have done what you're wanting to do.
That's what I love about you, because you on one of your videos, you said you've almost been bankrupt 3 times, right? Right there, it shows you didn't give up, right? Right there, you've experienced certain aspects of building your business and failures, and you can then give that advice and save the failures for all these builders. Like, you've made a success out of it. You've been through the hard times, and you can save them how many years?
Well, that's I've learned, like, and again, this is completely, you cannot flip around more from the way that I was brought up.
Yeah.
Like, I was brought up, if someone was doing well or had something nice or had what you wanted, like, oh, fuck, what are they doing to get that? Why do they deserve that?
Yeah.
Why haven't I got that? Like, all that sort of shit. And things weren't talked about.
Yeah.
Whereas I am so many people tell me I'm too honest. Like, I just tell shit how it is.
Yeah.
Like, I don't tell lies. I don't talk shit. Like, I just purely tell
You're honest.
my experiences.
Yeah.
And that's what the aim is with this podcast. Like, people, and you're doing a really good job of it today. Like, I feel like the more honest people are and the more truth they tell about what they've been through, the more vulnerable you are, that just helps more people. Because then people listening to this will be sitting there going, holy shit, like, that's my family, or holy shit, that's what I think. Like,
well, it's smoke. I was speaking to Shay about it before. It's smoke and mirrors. You see people on Instagram or wherever, and you think they're killing it, and then you hear the back end of the story, and it's like, and no wonder some people don't go for it, is because they see that they think it's achievable, and because someone else is doing it, and then it's all smoke and mirrors, and then
man, there's so much noise, like, especially now with social media. But I just feel, especially in the first quarter of 2024, I feel like there's a lot of noise, especially in, like, the, I don't know, coaching, mentoring, tradies, builders type space. Like, you've got to have runs on the board.
Yeah.
Like, I feel there's a lot of people out there that have had a little bit of success. Like, they might have had 1, 2 or 3 years. They've done a couple of decent jobs. They've made a little bit of money, and all of a sudden they feel like they can tell the world how to do things. And I struggle every day with imposter syndrome. Like, I think, who the fuck am I to be having a podcast and having a training business and telling people what I do?
You don't feel like you're good enough, do you?
Yeah, but I'm comfortable with it now, because I'm not telling people what to do. I'm simply telling people my experience.
Yeah.
And I take my hat off to you, because you're really breaking the mold. Like, to be 27 years old and to be dealing with that imposter syndrome and the old, like, we were talking before we started recording about stories you tell yourself. Like, it's every day is a battle, isn't it?
Every single day. Every day you feel like you're not good enough. When's it gonna happen? You don't feel I don't celebrate any success, because I don't think I've achieved any, because
you've got to do that.
You know what I mean? Like, you because you're not where you want to be.
But I want you to keep going. But while you're on that, you have to celebrate, mate.
Yeah.
Like, one thing I definitely learn is, it doesn't matter how big the win is. Like, it could be that you fucking had a great day and you didn't feel tired. Like, but you have to give yourself a pat on the back for every little win. And fuck, mate, I don't even know 90% of your story, but even from what you've told me today, I think you've had a lot of wins.
I try and win the day. Every day. I'd focus on the day, and I try and win the day. I try and get up early.
How do you win your day? What's your routine?
So my routine is, in the morning, I wake up at around 2 o'clock.
Holy shit.
And I'd weigh myself. I'll take a photo of myself. This is all honesty. Take a photo of myself. I'll jump in the ice bath. I don't want to jump in there every day. I don't want to to be honest, a lot of people feel benefits from it. I don't really feel benefit from it. I feel guilty if I don't do it. So it's like more of a discipline thing. So
That's what it is, but that's exactly what it is.
And I don't want to do it. When I first got that ice bath, one Sunday night I went to bed and I had the worst anxiety about getting in it in the morning. I seen how icy it was. I was like, I just kept thinking about it. And it's the more you think about it, you know, and anyway, the first time was like 30 seconds in there. And then my missus did more than me the next day. And I was like, no, it would better. And it was like that for a while. Anyway, so yeah, I jump in the ice bath, I get out, dry myself, and in the garage I have my clothes ready the night before, towel myself off, jump in my clothes, then I'll go make myself a coffee, then I'll make myself a coffee in a flask, and then I'll go to the gym. No, I'll make my SD, like all my lunch and drinks in SD, because I pat my SD because I don't know what I'm going to be doing that day. I don't know if a driver is going to call in sick and not rock up. I've had that many times before, and I'm not, you know, have to jump in the truck, you know. So I always pat my SD, even if, you know, I'm working from my office. So just in case. And then I go to the gym. I'll jump on the treadmill for half an hour to start off with. And I'll go through on the Fortress Hire Instagram and I'll like builders' posts, stories, and just engage. And then after that for 15 minutes. And then after that, I'll do a Fortress post. I'll go on the Photo Room app and I'll get a photo and I'll do the blue border and the Fortress Hire.
I looked at your Instagram, mate. It's fucking very organised.
Yeah, my captions aren't good though, so I'm running out of captions to
Who cares, mate? Who cares?
Yeah.
I think
as long as I'm doing it every day, that's what I think. As long as I just do one every day, it's keeping it just momentum going.
It's you.
Yeah. And then I'll go train in the gym, after that.
And then you go to work.
Then I feel like then I'm at the yard at 4:30, 4:40, which is 5 minutes down the road. And then I'll turn all the trucks on, get them ready, make sure to put the phones on charge for the drivers, and
And then, so what's an average knockoff for you?
Anytime. Like, we could be at the yard till 6, 7 at night. You know, last year, that's a promise I made to my partner last year, and the last year was I'm going to try and get home a bit earlier from the yard, because there was times.
What's a bit earlier?
I was about 6 o'clock, 6 o'clock, but I was getting home like 8 o'clock last year.
Fuck, so you're home at 8 o'clock and you're waking up at 2 o'clock?
I've only started the 2 o'clock end of last year, really, but I was still getting up early.
Yeah.
Before that, going to the gym,
Mate,
so
that's
it's just gotten earlier.
Yeah.
As I want to spend more time in the gym, because I still got to be at the yard at 4:30 because drivers coming at 5:15.
Mate, that is such an important lesson, right there, because again, most people whinge that they don't have enough time. Like, you've got to make the time. If you believe in something, you want to achieve something, you've got to do it. So if that means you got to fucking get to bed earlier, or you got to get up earlier, then
so I can't dictate my day, because you know yourself.
Yep.
Anything can happen in the day. Problems arise, things happen. You know, one time I tried to go to gym at like 3:30 in the afternoon before I was going back to the yard later that day.
Yeah.
And I went to do like a weight. And I had like 5 missed calls.
Yeah.
And then I had a call from a driver saying they bolted, and then I had to get Harvey's towing to go. I'll try to pull him out myself, and then I had to get Harvey's towing to come pull him out in Chambers Flat. Nothing goes to plan in your day. Like, nothing goes directly to plan.
So for builders and tradies, so I'm the same as you on this. So if I'm a little bit snowed under, or I need to get more done, I've recently started going to a personal trainer. So I've got to get up an hour and a half earlier to do that.
Yeah.
And so I think for all builders and tradies, like, if you want to do personal development, you want to go to gym, you want to grow, you need to sacrifice some time. So my hardest thing is sleep. Like, I have to force myself to be in bed around 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
But for me, the early morning thing, exactly like you said, for any trades-based business, like, and especially you, like, you'd be no different to a builder. Like, you have shit on how many different builders' sites. So you could get a phone call from any single one of them or drive or whatever, and shit can go pear-shaped really quickly. So normally the only quiet time you can get, like I get more done in the morning between 4 and 6 than I do in a whole
day.
Yeah, a whole day.
Yeah,
Like,
you're putting out fires all day.
yeah, like once the day starts, there's always something to deal with.
Yeah.
So
Your
if
phone's not going at that time.
yeah,
Like, it's perfect.
it's quiet time. You can smash shit out.
Yeah.
Your brain knows that no one's going to be trying to contact you, and you just get shit done.
Yeah.
But that's what you got to do, isn't it? Like,
That's what you, like, people ask me why do I gym at that time, and it's like in my head I've got no overtime to do it because it won't go to plan. If I want to stick to something go every single day, if I go once in the morning, once in the afternoon, work comes first, I'm going to put off the gym and not go, or I might be too tired.
or if you do get time to finish early, you go home and spend it with your missus.
Yeah, exactly. So getting to that, I don't think that's talked about enough. My partner probably gets the worst of me being in business because she gets what's left. Like what I said, coming home at 8 o'clock, 7, 8 o'clock last year, you know, she's at the top a lot. Not seeing me, working on the weekends, and hats off to the partners really, and my partner definitely, because they put up with a lot. They don't have to.
Yeah,
At
100%. Well, mate, the building industry would fall over. I say this all the time. If it wasn't for the wives and partners, like, we can't do what we do without their support, whether they work in the business or not. Like,
that's something I wanted to ask you actually. How is it working with your partner?
depends what day you ask me.
Do you find it brings you closer together? Because
And it could be what time of the day you ask me that, but
yeah, that's true.
oh mate, look, I'm not going to lie. Like, Camille and I definitely have our moments, and 9 out of 10 of them moments are driven by me because it's taken a while, like, to learn boundaries. Like, just like we talked about before, like, her and I are different. I have way different stress levels to what she has. I deal with things very differently to what she has, and vice versa. But I think partners, like working with your wife or partner, is extremely rewarding. Like,
You're working towards the same goal.
Yeah, so we do a lot of planning together. Family goals and even personal goals. Like, we know what each other's trying to achieve, but we can schedule. Like, we're huge on scheduling. I talk about it all the time. Like, school holidays, long weekends. Like, we're big on family time, going to the farm and things. But because we work together, like, we can make a decision. Like, if we're like, right, we want to have next Friday off because we want to go and do something.
Yeah.
We know what we've got to get done in the business. If we've got to smash out a few hours on a Saturday, or even if we've got to work a Sunday, like the kids are at their grandparents or nan and pops, whatever, we do whatever it takes, but we can make those decisions together.
Yeah.
Whereas if Camille's still had a corporate job, like, I'd be like, hey, let's go away for a long weekend. Like, I'm on top of everything. She'd be like, oh, I can't, I've got to work Friday.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of rewards to it, but you learn a lot about each other working together.
Yeah.
And I've definitely had to take ownership of a lot. And even now, like, there's definitely things that I don't know. Like, I don't know if we've given each other permission, but like, we're pretty blunt with each other now. Like, if I try to give Camille something to do or interrupt her or something, like, she'll tell me where to jam it. Like, and like we've had to learn. Like, so we've actually, this might sound funny. Like, when we're in the office, we work, like, my office is beside her office. And this is her, like, she's made this happen. Whereas I'd walk into the office, I'd stand beside her, or I'd sit down with her, and I'd rattle off all this shit that I needed done or that needed following up or whatever. And we never knew if shit was done, or I never had anything to check off or anything.
Yeah.
So now she's just on my back, like, just email me. Like, you have to email me. So now, like, the first thing I do every time I get back to the office or whenever I'm in the office, I just walk straight past her, go to my office, and I send her lists and tasks and things, and then she sends me back as they're done, like,
Completed, or
and we know, like, it's awesome. Like, so I think working with your partner can be incredibly rewarding, but you definitely need to you need to respect each other.
Yeah.
You need to understand each other's boundaries.
People to take advantage of their partners too.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And I'll
Yeah.
put my hand up. I used to.
Yeah.
Like, I just used to. And look, there's probably things that I still
Yeah.
take advantage of because I just put my hand up and say, oh, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, and especially when it comes to computers and office work. But,
Yeah.
but yeah, mate, it's rewarding. I know, like, one of your things was your goals is to work your partner into your business.
I would love to. Like, she is an absolute gun, and she has a really good job now. But she would be a gun, and I didn't want. I see people's businesses and they have their partnerships, and I didn't want, like, to bring it home and talk about it at home. But what I've realised lately is she'd be a gun, and, like, sometimes I come home now with stress and it's not relatable. I can't. I try and explain something, and you can't. They don't know what you're talking about because they don't know your business. You know, like, she was there when I opened my first container of torts from China. Like, me and her started building them. They're all flat pack.
Yeah.
She's been there the whole time, but it's like sharing something. I want to share. I don't want it all for myself. I don't want it. You know, I want people to come along for the ride too.
Yeah. There's a few things to be really aware of, I feel, with this. So that's another thing that, like, Camille for a long time had to pull me up on. Like we'd finish in the office and then during cooking dinner or even after dinner or watch TV or whatever, like, I'd ask questions about jobs or be checking on things, and, like, she had to pull me up all the time. Like, no, talk to me tomorrow. Like,
Because it bring you down mentally wears you out, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but it's actually, like, her being really strict on me has been good because, like, basically, so we run an office from home now. Like, we had a, like, 2-bedroom granny flat at the end of our house. We've converted that into a really nice office. And basically, once we leave that office and we enter the house,
it's done.
It's done.
Yeah.
Like, very, very rare that there's any discussion about work. And the other thing is that, like, Camille, she'll just flat out ignore myself and even the supervisor now. Like, we know that her work hours are from 9. Like, so once she's dropped the kids off, we know from 2:30 to 3:30 she's picking kids up. So we respect that now. Like, we don't try and contact her in those hours. Like, that's her time doing stuff with the kids and whatever. Like, so I think you really have to set boundaries.
Yeah.
And her being really strict and pushing me on what she needs, it's actually made me a lot better in the business as well, because now I know what I need to do to work around her boundaries.
Yeah.
But the most important thing with having a partner in the business, and I think this will resonate with a lot of tradies and builders, your partner has to get paid.
Definitely.
Like,
you can't. No, definitely.
So many, but they have to be paid exactly or more than what you would have to pay somebody else. When Camille first come into the building business after our second child, she finished maternity leave. Camille had been very successful in the corporate world. And that was back when we were running, like, this is 10 years ago. Like, at that time, like, I didn't understand the full business costs and overheads and all these types of things. And, like, I was cheering. Like, we thought we'd win more work because we had free labor. Like, I wouldn't need to pay an admin person. And number one, that was fucking horrible for the relationship because she felt undervalued or no value. Number two, it was horrible for her mental health because, like, how would you feel if you're sitting in a business all day, every day, dealing with all the shit and basically running a business and not being rewarded for it?
Yeah.
So the most important thing, if you're thinking about bringing your partner, is you've got to figure out the finances of the business, work out all the overheads, and make sure the business has the money in. And she needs to get paid.
Yeah.
Like, and I hope you're doing this as well. Like your partner, like anybody, even though they're our businesses, we're directors, we run those businesses. You have to get in the mindset that you and your partner are employees to the company. You get paid like an employee, you get treated like an employee. And then your company needs to make profit on top of that.
I don't pay myself what I spend on my credit card, and I don't live. I was saying to Shay, I'll go straight to the clearance rack at any shop we go to, and
Yeah.
I'll have a gift voucher, say, and I still won't buy it if it's not on clearance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't try and go overboard at all. Like, I know where I'm at in the business. I know I need to keep reinvesting.
So what's your role in your business?
The float, basically. I've only got, so lately I've brung my chippy who's been with me for 7 years now, and come across to Fortress, and I've learned something so valuable in the last 2 weeks is he got back after having a kid, and I want him to take over more of the operations, sort of, because we've got 4 trucks on the road, got a 5th getting built, and I wanted him to take more ownership, look after the drivers, look after the yard more, and I wanted to focus on building and working on the business. I've got, Fortress has an admin full time, does all the bookings. Builders still call me all the time. I just flick an email straight across to my admin. But what I learned in the last 2 weeks was I was micromanaging him, and I feel like that was shutting him down. And there was one day I was doing cladding with my brother. I was helping him out, and the run was there was a run that day that he went and did, and it was finishing like 12. It finished at like 12, and I was gonna ring him and say, yeah, this needs doing it, yeah, this, because I'm just scattered, and I'm like, this needs doing, and I was like, you know what, I won't call him. He was there till 6:30 that night, rearranging the yard, doing his own thing, and so the next day I did the same and didn't. I was like, no, I won't. Ever since then, it's like he's taking it on himself, and I've been saying to him like, mate, this is like unreal, like, and
It's hard to let go as a business owner.
oh, big time. But like it shows that like it's making him take ownership of it and him do what you just got to have that trust, I guess.
Yeah. It's letting go as a business owner, because it's your baby. It's a hard thing to do, but like that's been huge for my business as well. Like, but it's getting to a point where you can trust your team enough to do it the same or better than you would do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's unreal. Like, I bet you felt unreal when you started realizing that.
I don't know myself, because like you're letting go of something, like you're still there, and then I started to connect him and the admin, and Chelsea, she asked me a question, and I said, ask Saban, he's at the yard and all that, and then they just thought, I'm in a group message with him, I still see it.
Yeah.
And it's great. They were like both just communicating, and I'm like, sweet, I'm not getting involved.
It's a valuable lesson, eh? Like,
Yeah.
I remember when I learnt that as a business owner, you don't have to do everything.
No.
You just need to make sure everything gets done. But look, this is only my personal advice, and just going off what you were just talking about then, or my personal opinion. But I believe, like, as a business owner, no one's ever going to be as passionate about what you're doing as you are. So for the business to grow and to get new leads, and like, the best business is personal connections.
Yeah.
And so as a business owner, you want to be out there. You want to be spruiking about the business. You want to be connecting personally with people. So that is what you need to get the role you need to be focusing on. And then other people can do the other tasks.
The back end.
But you have to be paying. You've got to pay yourself a salary, mate. Like, you can't just be pulling money out of the business and run off credit cards and things.
Is that how you feel rewarded out of your business? Do you feel like is that the reason behind it?
No. Why should you just get the scraps that are left over?
Yeah.
Like, if you don't know your role
That's exactly what my brother says to me. He says that to me all the time, and he goes, why are you even doing it if you're not benefiting out of it? And I say, because I know what it's going to look like in 5 years' time. I just want to keep reinvesting. And he goes, and he said this to me last week. He said, Grant, you're going to be in the same position in 5 or 10 years' time. And this is probably what I need advice from you on, is because he goes, you're going to be in the same position 5 or 10 years down the line. I said, why is that? And he goes, say if you buy 6 torts every week now, he goes, you earn more money, you'll buy 20 torts.
Yeah.
In 5 years' time, you'll just keep buying 20 torts. And he goes, you'll be in the same position.
Yeah.
He says, when does it end? You can keep going until you're in Sydney, Melbourne, and you'll keep going and keep buying, and you'll still be in the same position if you've got that same mindset.
Yeah,
So,
turnover means nothing if you're not making profit.
No.
But this is what I was talking about. Like, you have to treat yourself as an employee to the business.
Yep.
There's absolutely no point running a business, taking all the stress, and only taking the scraps that are left at the end of the day. So, like, you need to do, like, I give, like, what I give advice I give to builders is, like, you need to, I say track it for 3 to 6 months. Like, every day in a diary or a journal, you need to write down every single task you do.
Yeah.
And then from that list of tasks, you need to allocate time to that. And this is where, like, most people that do this exercise, it's like, holy shit, that's why I got no time. I'm doing 60, 80, 100 hours a week. I'm doing 3 jobs. So once you've done that and you've figured it out, then you need to figure out, like, allocate those tasks. I say put them in 3 categories. Ones that you love doing, you do every day of the week. Ones that you do but you're not really efficient at, and ones that you just can't stand doing.
Yeah.
Because that'll help you identify where you need to hire people in the business. And it'll also help you identify what you're really good at, what you enjoy doing, because ultimately whatever you enjoy doing and what you're really good at is what's going to bring more value to the business and attract more business. So, but once you've done that, like, you can't pay yourself a salary until you understand the role that you play in your business.
Yeah.
So it's funny because when you run a business, you hire people. And when you hire people, like, what are you looking for? You're looking to fill a role. So if you're looking for a truck driver, you want a truck driver that can do this, 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 and this. If you're looking for a forklift driver, you're looking for a forklift driver that can do this and this. Why, as a business owner, should you not have a role description?
Well, it's funny you say that. At the start of this year, I said to myself, I'm going to jump in a truck myself, because I had someone leave at the end of last year. And I'm going to use their wage, what I was paying them, to pay off a truck. And I was working every day in that truck, taking phone calls, everything like that. And I realised at the end of it, like, I paid off 2 trucks and a vacuum tank. That was my goal from January to March. And I realised after it, how much time have I wasted in the last 3 months just driving this truck? What else could I have been doing? You know,
well, that's
I didn't value my time at
100%, and
I did not value
that
it.
is the thing. People, well, when you are, like, the number one excuse, like, ever since we've had our software and now that I have the training business, Live Love Build, the number one excuse from people that don't take action, that don't follow through, that don't put in effort is, I don't have time.
Yeah.
The only reason people don't have time is because they don't value their own time. And when you don't value your own time, you don't prioritize things properly.
Yeah.
And what you spend your time on is other people's priorities. So you'll be spending all your time doing shit that maybe your employees should be doing, or maybe you could hire someone to do, or maybe the builders that you're hiring out are taking advantage of you because you're not being strict enough with your role.
Yeah.
It's like, seriously, for anyone that's listening to this, tradie, builder, anyone, one of the most powerful things you can do for your business is put in the time, track all the tasks you do, and really knuckle down and identify exactly what your role is. Or if you can't identify what your role is, I'd at least identify what you want your role to be.
Yeah.
And then from there, what I tell people is, you need to if you were to get hit by a bus tomorrow and could not work in your business anymore,
Needs to run without you, doesn't it?
no, what are you going to have to pay someone to do what you do?
Yeah, okay.
And that is what you should be paying yourself.
Yeah,
Because again, why should you just take the scraps?
yeah.
Like most reality is, and it took me 10, 12, 15 years to truly understand this. And it's the last 10 years is why I've been able to grow so much, is because I'm really passionate about this stuff now. Like, why should people get into whatever it is, having their own business, whether you're restaurant, cafe, doctors, it doesn't matter what trade or what business or you're in.
Yeah.
You end up working for less than people that you employ because you don't understand that you need to be paying yourself.
Well, right now, I've brought myself a job
Yeah.
that doesn't pay me.
A poor paying job.
Yeah, that doesn't pay me.
And that's reality. Most
Yeah.
businesses are a poor paying job. Like the people around you, the people that work for you are earning more than what you earn.
Yeah.
The only difference is that, and I got stuck in this mindset for years. Like I was like, we had $5, $6, $7, $8, $9 million turnover.
Yeah.
And I was working for less than my carpenters were.
Yeah.
But in my head, I thought I was killing it. Like, man, I'm turning over $8 million. Like, I'm doing well.
And did you add up the hours you were working and then divide that back and work out your hourly rate, and say if you were paying yourself just a small wage at
But
that
this
time,
is the thing. For me,
weren't.
the first, like I said, 10, 12, 15 years, I just took what was left.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't even, so this is the other stupid part. I didn't even take what was left. I was doing the same thing you're probably doing, the same thing 90% of businesses was doing. I was just spending the business's money.
Yeah.
If I needed something, I bought it. So I had no idea.
So it was only, you weren't on the forefront as per se. You'd only get something if you needed it.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the time I was just spending money that wasn't really mine. I thought like the turnover was huge, and this subject is so difficult because the other side of this is so much, like, so you get phone, like banks and things, like they think your business is killing it because they see that all this money's going through your bank, but they don't know what you're actually making.
So your net profit, right? So I look at my net profit all the time, and I look at why my net profit is different this month to last month. They might be freight. So say if you get a container of fencing from China, that's a capital expense, right? But then the freight comes into your profit and loss. And I argue with it all the time. That should be a part of the capital expense. But anyway, nonetheless, it comes into your profit and loss.
Well, it just depends how it gets categorised from your accounting side of you.
And then I have everything's itemised. So your pool fencing revenue, your temporary fencing revenue, your skip bin revenue, your cost of sales. So it could be your cost of your skip bins, your waste disposal, and everything's categorised and itemised. And
so that is all the easy stuff. Like it's the running cost and the overheads of the business where everyone goes wrong.
Well, so 1 month you might turn over less than last month, but your net profit might be more. So I'll try and work that out and look at it, because I looked at the P&L side by side. I looked at, pool fencing was $3,000 more this month, or toilet hire was $2,000 less, or I had this.
I'm not sure. Your business is very different to a building business, I would expect, but I think there'd be similar issues.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, I'll try and everybody, like, seriously, you got to get your own financial advice on this. This is just purely my opinion, or my lack of knowledge from where I've got to where I am. But because even so, back in the day when I was running a shit show, which at the time I thought was fantastic, and it looked fantastic. I was driving around, like I was 24 years old, driving around a big F truck, paid cash for like $200,000 cash for a 28-foot boat. Like, I thought I was killing it, but all I was doing was pulling money out of the business.
Yeah.
The reality is, you've got to understand your running cost. So I don't know if this is a comparison or not, but I would imagine, let's just say, like, so all my on-site costs as a builder, all my materials to build the house is basically your hire equipment.
Yeah.
So then on top of all that money to build that house, there's another pile of money to run the business, which is the same as you. Like, you've got to have a pile of money to run your business.
Yeah.
So that's all your overheads and running costs. And in that overheads and running costs should be your salary, like as a business owner.
Yeah.
So for me as a builder, like, and this is why it's really important to identify your role. Actually, this is really similar the more I'm thinking about this. So like using a building example, if I was a builder and I started tracking my time, and even this is for tradies and everyone as well.
So your wage should be incorporated in that build cost.
Hang on, I'll get to that. So this is why you have to track your time and identify where you play your role. So for a tradie or a builder point of view, like, my example, I'm a builder. So I might track all my time. I might be spending a certain amount of time supervising jobs. So supervision is an on-site cost.
Yeah.
I might then spend, say, smaller business, I might then spend 20% of my time on the tools helping the carpenters. So that's an on-site cost.
Yeah.
But then I might spend all the rest of my time doing project management, which is an overhead, because project management is all the organising, the quoting, estimating, all that sort of thing. So you might find if you track all your time, you might, this is completely random numbers, but you might track your time for 3 months or whatever. The longer you do it, the better, because data is everything. Data doesn't lie.
Yeah.
But let's just say you track it for 3 months and you find out that in an average week, you drive the truck for a day, you install site fencing for a day. So that's cost, like that's an on-site cost. Like that's what you need to run. Like, that's part of your business. But then you might spend 3 days in the office.
Yeah.
So those days are an overhead.
Yeah.
So, and the overhead part is the most important part, and it's the piece that most people forget. So what I was getting to before, I said back in the day when I was running the shit show, pricing my jobs, I was actually, like, I'd put a lot of time and effort into. Like, I still miss things and got a few things wrong here and there. But overall, the actual projects, I was pricing really good.
Yeah.
My problem was that I was just putting a markup on them of a certain percentage and thinking that was all good and that can cover everything that it takes to run the business. And in reality, that figure was 3 times less than what it needed to be. And people don't understand, like, running costs of a business can be anywhere from 8, 9, 10% up to 30 or 40%. It completely depends on how efficient your business is, how you operate. Do you have a yard? Do you have a shed? Do you run out of home office? Like, there's so many variables. So every overhead in every business will be completely different. And that's why it's so important to spend the time and really nut it out. But yeah, it's that's ultimately where you make your money. Because if you're just hiring out fences and hiring out toilets and the money's coming into the business and you don't know what it's actually taking to run the business, you're no different to a builder that's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And that 9 times out of 10, that's why you got no cash flow. That's why you're not building up money. Like, I'm not saying you have no cash flow. But you might. You sound like you're killing it, but that's perception.
No, I'm not killing it. I'm not killing it.
You're going to be killing it after this podcast, because I want every builder in Southeast Queensland to give you a call tomorrow. But look, the thing is, like, I used to get really overwhelmed about this stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'd hide in a corner and just make excuses that I was never taught this. No one showed me. Reality is that you run a business, you have to put time and effort into this stuff. Mm-hmm. So I think that, like, you're here now, you've asked questions. Like, that's the most important thing. Like, hang around like-minded people, hang around other people in business, ask questions. Like,
well, I can save myself that much time asking from someone that's done it before.
I haven't had a hire business, but
as you said before, it's similar. So you're extracting the information from someone who's already done it, and I've had people say to me, "What? Don't talk to your competition, all that stuff." there's that many hire companies
They shouldn't.
that I
Yeah.
talk to and bounce ideas off and get advice from them. And you know what? They're not afraid to tell me anything about their business.
But how do you know if they're telling you the truth?
Oh, you don't really, do you?
I think it's really important for everyone to run their own race.
Yeah.
It's definitely awesome for people to reach out and talk to each other, but reality is you have to know your business. You've got to know your data, you've got to know your numbers, got to know your overheads.
And that's why it's hard to get advice from people that, you know, their business, like say another hire company, their business might be completely different to yours or ran different to yours.
And mate, they might be just like you and they might not have a clue either.
Yeah.
Like something that I've really become aware of in the last probably 6 months is, like I used to tell this story that back in the day, I was trying to get advice. I knew there was better ways to do things, and I used to run into other builders at hardware and things and ask advice, and they'd just say, "Fuck off, mate. That's the industry. Harden up. Like, deal with it."
Yeah.
And I've learnt now from what I'm doing and the training business and the amount of builders that I talk to. For a lot of builders, they don't like talking about things because they actually don't know. Like they're great tradesmen, they're great builders, but they might feel like when they're getting asked questions that, holy shit, I don't actually know that, or they palm it off because it highlights what they actually don't know. So it's a huge issue with, again, it's not just our industry, it's all businesses. A lot of people running businesses just don't understand what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's no one's fault.
No.
Like you get into what you got into because you're passionate about it. I got into what I'm doing because I fucking love building.
Yeah.
Like I didn't get into it because I wanted to know numbers and run a business. I got into it because I wanted to build shit.
And then that was off the back end of building stuff. You had to start learning everything you know now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And same as you, like you're passionate about the hire, you're trying to help people out. Did you ever think you'd need to learn about business?
No, like there's so much on the back end that you don't even realise, and it's just mind-boggling. Like honestly, like learning about it, how it's run, and I just got into it wanting to give a good service to start off with, and that's how I developed trying to offer all the items, like the skip bins, the fencing, the toilets, and doing like a package. And trying to give good service, and how can I give better service every single time? And then you start learning, developing off that. And look, sometimes I've taken hits too when a skip bin company's charged me, you know, a futile fee for something, but I don't believe in that futile fee, and I won't pass that charge on to the builder. I'll lose the money there because there's so many items wrapped up on that builder's sites. They might have 10, 20 sites, and I just don't believe in that, passing that on, and I'll try and shelter it and give, I don't know, I don't know if I should be doing that.
No.
You know?
It's your business, mate.
I know, but then like I see I don't agree with it.
There's two sides to that.
Yeah.
I think, like again, I used to get shits with this.
And that's being passionate about it and wanting to give the good service and keep them and all that. But yeah, why not be? It's not the best financial decision at all.
It's not, mate. You're losing money. But I know as a builder, like when you get extra charges, I used to get quite pissed off about some of them. But then you'd try and have an argument with someone, and then you'd take the time to read the contract you've signed. You're like, oh shit, they're actually entitled to sign me that. So these days I'm more about nothing's a quick tick and flick. Like have a conversation, read your contracts, understand what's going on. And I'm sure in your contracts it says that, like their contract, it says that tolls will be passed on and all that type of thing. So like I actually only just last week, like we got a heap of trucks running dirt off a few different sites at the moment, and we'd been getting invoices. So generally when we hire trucks, the invoices come through the same day or the next day. And Sharon, my accounts manager, said to me, oh, do you know why some of these invoices are a bit different. So on the one day we had 4 trucks, and one of the trucks' invoices was substantially higher than the other 3. And it's funny because the day before, my boys had rung me and said, "Hey, you need to ring the hire company up because there's something going wrong here. Like the first truck's back for his 4th load, and all the others have only just come back for their 3rd." And I got on the phone and I'm ringing the hire company like, "Hey, you need to have a go at these drivers. Like, what's going on? Like, they're all going to the same dump, blah, blah, blah." And they come back and said to me, he goes, in our last update on our policies, you've got an option to pay tolls or not. And I said, "Well, no one's asked me." And they said, "Yeah, well, that first truck, he's taking the toll road, so he's getting there quicker. The other guys are going around and avoiding the tolls." And I said, "Oh, well, that's..." So in the past, I would have got the shits about that.
Yeah.
But I was like, "Oh, well, I should have read your paperwork."
Yeah. So you've taken ownership of that.
Well, I've taken ownership of it. But the other thing was, at first I was a little bit annoyed that the invoice was dearer. But then I was like, "Oh, well, that's sweet," because like that, even though it cost me, I think, $190 extra for the day for that truck, he ended up getting 7 loads. The other guys only got 5.
Yeah.
So
right. Yeah.
the benefit for me, like I should have asked a question and got all the trucks to take the tolls, because I wouldn't have had to get them back the next day, because if they had done 7 each, buddy, whatever that is, 28 loads.
Yeah.
Instead, we only got 15, 7, 22.
The value was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But mate, what's your drive? Like what's your goal? What's pushing you along?
That's changed in the last 2 years. The goals were material items. As I've progressed, I'm starting to care less about the material items. For some reason, I still like.
What do you like? Example? What's
just nice house on a canal, and nice cars and all that, and then my mindset is just shifted completely. Like, I still want nice things, don't get me wrong, but I want to feel financially free in a way, have the freedom. I see you're big on the freedom. You go out on the weekends and stuff like that. I want to be more financially free and not worry financially. Goes back to I don't want to be someone that's in a big house, got cars on lease, stressing about money. I would rather, like, I had one of those new Mazda BT50s, and I owned it for 6 months, and I sold it. And I bought a 2-wheel drive Toyota Highlights, and that's the best car I've ever had. But I've used it way more than what I would have the other car. And who am I trying to keep up with? Like, why do I...
You run your own race, man.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm comparing myself to people that I don't need to be comparing myself to. And, yeah, don't get me wrong, I still want nice things. But, yeah, I do want to be financially free and...
Freedom to me
stress,
is like you've got to push hard and go to the next level. And, like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what we all think. Like, everyone is judged on the amount of money you earn.
Yeah.
And the more money you earn, the more freedom you have.
Yeah.
But yeah, freedom is true success.
Yeah.
Like, I know people that have got hundreds of millions of dollars, and I know people that own their house, have a couple of nice cars, and are fucking far more happier than the person with hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So look, I think that it's finding out what makes you happy, isn't it?
I do what that's something else too that I struggle with. I'm never happy, and I struggle being present anywhere. I'm always thinking about something else. Whenever I'm, with my partner, I can't engage with friends because they haven't got the same, vision or goals as me, and there's nothing wrong with that, like, at all. But, like, I'm thinking about something else. I can't go out drinking at the pub and, get pissed, and I don't enjoy it, and I can't be present in the moment. I'm always thinking about something else, and mentally, I think that wears me out a bit.
Yeah.
I would love to be present. Like, in saying that, my mum's 60th was on the weekend. We went on a 3-night cruise on Friday afternoon. It left. It went out to sea. We were back Monday morning at 6 o'clock. And my phone was going on a Friday afternoon still, and then we ran out of reception and I didn't buy Wi-Fi. And I was like, you know what, I'm not going to buy Wi-Fi. And I didn't miss it. I was so happy without it, but I still wasn't present. I still, everyone was drinking and everything like that. I had 3 beers and I had 2 Toblerone cocktails the whole time.
Oh, mate, I love them. Fuck, I
it didn't even
smashed in
taste
it.
like alcohol, and
Yeah.
it was just delicious, you know.
Fuck, that is one thing I used to get stuck into when I was younger, and all my mates used to think I was gay, but
I've never heard of them until then.
they're so good. They're so good. But like I'm hearing you with that too. Like we talked a little bit before we started recording, like the ADHD stuff.
Yeah.
Like, my wife tells me the same thing. Like she tells me that's why I can't put on weight. Like I eat like a horse, but my brain just does not stop. Like
I feel like that wears you out more.
Do you journal?
No, I started a couple of weeks ago. I started writing down like 4 things I'm grateful, 4 or 5 things I'm grateful for of a night time.
Something that like that's really helped me.
Yeah,
Be more present. Like I have journals in my truck. I have 2 on my desk in my office. I got one beside my bed. Like at any time of the day, like I'm not like I used to try and do it like every night before I went to bed.
yeah.
And I'd do it here, there, and everywhere. But now the reason I've got them everywhere, I do it when it comes to me. And
So when you feel grateful for something, or
I write all sorts of shit down,
Yeah,
mate.
okay.
But it's really helped me. It's just like doing a big brain dump.
yeah.
Like I write all sorts of shit down, and that's I don't know. Just see how you go.
You go through many emotions to bring that up and to write them down. Do you go through many emotions throughout the day, like all up and down and?
Oh, mate, heaps.
Yeah. That's exactly how I feel, and my mind's always ticking. There's always stuff going on, and that's why I had the 2-page per day diary, and everyone's like, "Why are you using the diary?" And I like writing stuff down and ticking them off. You know what I'm doing. Had it sectioned out like Fortress Hire, Jarvis projects, Grant Jarvis, and I was just I'd write everything down, tick them off, and I felt that was the only thing that helped me feel. Because say I have something to do, and I'll think about that 10, 20 times throughout the day, and I just keep coming in.
Yeah.
But as soon as I wrote it down, it's like it before it even come into my head, I'd know it's written down because I'd thinking about it so much because I didn't want to forget about that task. And that helps so much, like so much.
What the hand does, the mind will follow, mate.
Yeah.
That's, I went to a Robert Kiyosaki thing the other week. I don't know, a couple of months ago now, and he said that, and I was like, "Fuck that! That's what I do." Like,
what about thinking about it so much?
what your hand does, your mind follows.
Yeah, okay.
And that's been my thing for a long time. So I'm the same. So on top of all those other journals, I've got a diary.
Yeah.
Every day, my diary has, like, if something pops in my head, I write it down. If I got to make a phone call, if I got to tell the boys something, if I got to check an email, I got to respond to an email. Like, so generally there could be anything from 12 to 3 things in my diary. But for me, I don't know what it is, but writing it down and then going back, looking at it and being able to put a line through each item.
Highlight it and tick it.
It just, I get to the end of the day. If I get to the end of my day or it's time for dinner or whatever, and I look at my diary and it's still got something that's not crossed through, I've got to do it.
Yeah.
Like, so it might have been that I had to call someone, but it might be late, so that means I'll have to send them an email. But it just makes me calm down for the night.
And you feel achieved?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's what the journaling does for me. So, I've got scattered notes everywhere. It could be anything. It could be things that I want to buy. It could be things that I want to do. It could be holidays I want to go on. It could be shit that I want to do with the kids. It could be a date night, like anything. Like I write shit down.
Because I suppose if you don't journal, like sometimes I won't think about stuff or think to do something. You'll think about something in a moment or what you want to do. And then because you're so busy all the time and thinking about other stuff, you don't even think back to that. You know, like as simple as like, yeah, I'd love to take my missus on a date. But I simply just don't think about it. Like I might pop into my head or something, but I don't write it down. And then it doesn't happen because you haven't written it down. You're not consciously thinking about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's my fault.
Yeah.
You know, that's something I need to get more on top of.
So what does switch you off? There must be something that...
Honestly, I haven't done it in about a year, but I say to my missus that this is the only thing that makes me settle, and it was going to the cinemas. I was having popcorn and Maltesers and the Pepsi Mats, sitting in the cinemas, just watching the movie. You know, I just felt at peace. That's like the only thing that's ever... I can't do it at home watching a movie.
But that's just... you're telling yourself a story. Like we talked about this before we started recording. Like in your head, you're telling yourself that because you're at the cinema, it's okay. I can chill out. I can relax.
That's what
the stories you tell yourself, the stories we tell ourselves, mate, hold us back from everything. They either make it like they make us calm, they make us nervous, they make us not achieve things. Like it's all stories.
I feel like I've been kept behind a lot by the stories I've told myself, and also you tell yourself you have to be busy all the time or whatever. Like say Christmas holidays or something like that, and you know I might chip away and do some work throughout a 2-week period. You might couple of hours here, a couple of hours there, and look back after that 2 weeks because you felt like you've worked the whole time then because you're doing hours each day working. And if I just planned ahead and I just took 2 days out of that, I could have got all of that done, or 3 days out of that. But no, it comes from the fact of you need to be busy, you need to be doing something.
Is that because you feel
guilty?
I was going to say, do you feel guilty
I feel guilty I can't have like a day off because I have to do something to do with work or...
Why do you feel guilty?
I don't know. I just feel like I'm not achieving anything, I suppose. I don't feel like I've earned the day off, you know. I don't.
I used to feel guilty if I wanted to go out to lunch with mates or whatever, and my rest of my team was still working on site or whatever. But
mate, I cannot during the work. I cannot do like. I will feel guilty if people are working and I'm not working. If someone's, say, working a Saturday and I'm not there, like I'm not working, I'll feel guilt. I can't settle.
Yeah. So you got.
That's wrong. That's wrong.
Yeah.
Like, why are you getting into business?
It's that I still battle with that, but I've learnt that, like, at the end of the day, I'm the one that's done the late nights, the big hours, and built the business to where it is. If I want to have a lunch or go out with some mates or finish early or have a day off, I'm allowed to do that.
Yeah.
And again, it's a story.
Is that the perception of you think that how they're looking at you? That's what I struggle with. It's like, what are they thinking about if I'm, Friday?
I used to think that they're going to be on site going, fuck, who's he think he is? It's all right for him. He's finishing early.
Yeah.
Like, I've put in the time. I've built the business. I've taken all the risks. So, but another thing that has really helped me with that is I really encourage my whole team to do the same.
Yeah.
If their wife or partner or kids have got something on, like, take half a day off. Take a whole day off. Like, we all work
give and take.
Yeah, it's got to be give and take. But
do you feel like
again,
there's a lot
that guilty? That is just a story.
Yeah.
Like, it is just a story that you were telling ourselves in our head. Like
Friday lunchtime, I was nervous leading up to that going away, and I was like, no, it's my mum's, 60th. There's like 18 of her friends going. I was like, no, yeah. And,
were you nervous about going away or nervous about spending the weekend with 18 60-year-olds?
A bit of both. They were all in the casino till like 2 o'clock in the morning. I was in bed. But I was nervous up to that. Is he going to be right without me? And I was like, it's one day. It's not even one day. It's half a day, And Sabin had it all covered at the yard, and that just built my trust with him even more. And you don't get that trust if you don't let it go. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Oh, mate, I take my hat off to you because this is all the stuff that business owners need to talk about.
Yeah.
Like, because we all deal with the same shit.
Mm.
And Yeah, a lot of it is, if anyone hasn't heard my podcast I do with Dr. Jo Lukens yet, go and check it out. But we'll go and check her books out. She's just released a new one actually. But it's just, we tell ourselves this shit. And you just got to try
Constantly.
you just got to switch it off and change, just change the story. Dr. Jo talks a lot about even just the words.
That I was listening to that and it was like, yet. I can't do that yet, and that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Because you're stopping yourself in the tracks straight away by saying you can't do something. You don't want to. Some people just don't want to do something.
Yeah.
It's not that. They're not interested in it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like a lot of people suffer from analyst paralysis of, like, say, consuming that much information? Like, you could get so much information from everywhere, and it stunts you because you don't know what everyone's telling you different. Say with business or anything like that, or the right way to do things. It might be I see you listen to Grant Cardone. Like, he could have a certain way of doing something, like taking equity out of houses and doing, and everyone has the right way of doing stuff and whatnot, and you get all of this information and you end up doing nothing because you're taking it, you're absorbing it, you don't know what the right way is.
Yeah, because I think that was my problem for a long time. Probably been only the last 5-6 years that I've changed that, but I think there's a few parts of that. Like I've got incredible value out of Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
And I know lots of people that can't stand him.
Yeah.
I reckon
it's funny when he gets all like not cocky.
I just love his passion, mate. I love his passion.
Yeah.
And look, after Camille and I went to 10X GrowthCon in 2020 in Vegas, and he's an incredible person.
Yeah.
And I definitely thank him. Like I've had a lot of success because of him.
He only started when he was like 35 too, like really hitting it, didn't he?
Yeah. The real Brad Lee. Like I something that I've learnt, mate, is like you have to listen to people that you connect with.
Yeah.
So like well, as an example, like a lot of people, like even Shay, like a lot of people get a lot out of Gary Vee. I just haven't been able to connect with him, and like even Tony Robbins, I don't know why. I've got a little bit from him, but I think the most important thing is you just have to find someone that you connect with, someone that works for you, and you don't have to take it all in. Like I listen to shitloads of Audible books now because I've realized, like, changing my mindset to like, oh shit, that was a 16-hour book and it was rubbish. Now it's like, oh man, that was a 16-hour book and shit, that one chapter was awesome. Or it could be one sentence
out of it. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So I take in what I feel I can make work for me.
Yeah.
I think so many people put pressure on themselves thinking like, yes, they might listen to Grant Cardone and go, oh, I have to do that. Like, that's what I want to do. I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Like, I connect with what I feel comfortable and what I think that I can achieve. And I think the other big thing that has really worked well for me is like I don't take things in easily, mate. So like I might hear something and it might click a little bit, and then I'll press the fucking rewind button and I'll listen to it again, and I might do it again. Like, it might take 5 times, but each time I take a little bit more of it in, and I'm like, fuck, I'm going to do that. Or I do what we talked about before. I'll pull over on the side of the road. Like,
and journal it.
I'll get to the next, wherever I can pull over, I'll just pull over and I'll write in my journal. It might be a sentence, might be a saying, could be a quote, could be some, like, anything.
That's going to provide more value than the time it took you to pull over and take the time.
Yeah.
Because you might forget about it after that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you've just got to, writing shit down has definitely changed my life. Like, I used to be the person, and I give people shit about this now, but I shouldn't because it was me. like I've always gone to seminars, gone to functions, gone to things. And up until 5-6 years ago, I'd just go along, sit in the audience. I wouldn't take any notes. And I'd be the guy in the audience going, yep, I'm going to do all this. Yep, I'm going to do all this. Going to implement that. Yep, that's awesome. And then a week later, a month later, whatever it is, I'd be like, oh, that was a waste of money. I got nothing out of that.
But you didn't implement any of the...
I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Whereas now, mate, I go to a seminar now, and like the one recently I've done with JT Fox, like a 2-day event, I filled 2 notepads. Like I filled, they gave you a notepad. I completely filled that up, and then I had a journal in my bloody backpack. I half filled that up. Like,
did you note down what you resonated with, what you took in, and what you found value out of?
I wrote down everything that I thought I could implement, or that I just resonated with.
Yeah.
Like, and it wasn't everything that he was saying, and it was other people there as well. But that's what now, since I've heard Robert say it, it's exactly what I do. Like, what the hand does, the mind will follow. And it's so true. Like, what you write down, me writing something down, I remember it.
Yeah. Whereas if you don't,
I could listen to the same thing 100 fucking times, and you could ask me a question about it, and I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Yeah.
And that's what I was like at school. At school, didn't write shit down, sat in the back of the room, gave people shit, ignored the teachers, and learnt nothing. If I had wrote shit down, I would have probably learnt something. But
what do you think people are too impatient in business?
yeah, I think that was my problem for a long time.
You were too. How were you impatient? What did you just want your goals now? Did you think it should come quicker, or
Yeah.
did you not realize how much work had to go into it?
Yep.
Yeah.
All of the above, mate. All of the above. And just like you touched on before, and man, when I was your age, like, there wasn't even social media.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not even that old, but I just saw other builders. I was striving to be like other builders and do a particular type of work and work for particular architects. And so I just, in my mind, I was always unsatisfied because I always thought I should have been better and I should have got places faster and I should have had more money and I should be able to buy this and I should be able to that, and why can't I have the big house? Like it takes time. You got to.
And if you're a seller, that's how I connected with you. You I think you reshared one of his stories, and you're talking about resonating with people, and that's someone I resonate with. And
you going to see him? He's coming here soon. We're going to.
Is he?
Yeah, I think so. No. Sorry.
Is that Bedros?
Yeah, Bedros is coming. Yeah.
And Andy talks about aggressive patience in business. So be patient in knowing it's going to take. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in 2 years, but you've got to be aggressive in the pursuit of it. So like every single day, you've got to be just hammering it like it's going to happen tomorrow.
Yep.
But be patient in the fact that it's going to take time.
Yeah.
That's kept me going because I'll compare myself to people that are 10, 15 years down the line than me.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel like shit.
Yeah.
Because you're comparing. And then you listen to things like that and it sort of brings you back down, and you want to know you're on the right track.
Exactly what you just said worked really well for me, but also another big turning point in my life, in my business, and definitely my happiness was just realizing like fuck it, I've woken up today, I'm breathing, I'm healthy, be content with what I've got. I will get what I want, but it's not going to be today. I've got to keep pushing. I've got to get to that next level. I've got to
keep putting in the work.
Yeah, and that's steps. One thing that I'm 100% committed to now. Like, I'm not taking my foot off the gas.
Yeah.
Like, my foot is on the gas all the time, but it's being strategic about it. It's scheduling, it's planning, it's having systems and processes. Like I couldn't even tell you, like I get 500% more done every day now than I did 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
And you feel less stressed?
But I'm less stressed, and I've got more free time.
Yeah.
Like,
do you still feel guilty with that free time?
Occasionally.
Yeah.
It depends. It depends what's happening. Like, I felt guilty this afternoon. So, like, I've just come this afternoon. I had a luncheon with some mates that I went to Everest with 6 years ago, and I felt guilty because it's raining and my guys were on site pouring concrete.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, and so I was late. Like, I struggled to leave that because I'm like, fuck, they're here. They're in the mud. They're getting wet. Like, I need to be doing this shit. But, but yeah, I think every business owner is going to be like that at some point. But
100%, definitely.
But mate, look, we'll wrap it up. I seriously, I could sit here all night and talk to you. I think you're a great young fella. I think you've got a good head on your shoulders. You're definitely determined, like, to be where you are.
Just giving it a go, yeah.
Yeah, but look, for people listening, reach out. Fortress Hire, check them out. If you're in Southeast Queensland, bloody give them a buzz.
We'll look after you.
Yeah, we'll. I'm going to talk to you off air, mate, about your numbers and stuff. But mate, I really appreciate your vulnerability and how open you've been today. I guarantee the listeners have got a lot out of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, take my hat off to you, mate.
Thanks for having me on, and I was so nervous to come on, and I'm actually happy with myself that I did come on, and to be uncomfortable, you know, and I was nervous to come on, and that's just another win, you know, to myself, because like, I'm an introvert. I didn't see myself doing it, to be honest.
Mate, I still don't believe I'm fucking doing this podcast. Like,
really?
You just got to be yourself and get it out.
No one cares that much, though, do they? Like, you think people are gonna tear and make fun of you and laugh or whatever. They don't really care that much, you know.
Yeah, I'm not sure, mate. That again, we're going to crank up. We're going to keep going all night. But I can't remember when it was, what trip it was, but the first book I ever. Well, I didn't even finish reading it. I was going to say read, but I think we're coming back from Sydney, family trip. It's got to be a while ago now, and my wife, in the duty-free shop or where it was a subtle art of not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
And I started reading it on the plane. It's the first book in my life that I've ever just started and actually gotten through a bit of it. Anyway, as soon as we were back off the plane, like, it went on the shelf and I bought it on Audible and smashed it out. But that is why I do everything I do now, because, like, who gives a fuck what other people think?
Yeah, that is true.
Like,
That's true.
100%. Run your own race. Don't care about other people.
And they're pushing their own insecurities onto you, what they don't want to do, or they can't
Their
see
worries,
themselves.
their
Their
fears.
worries, they're just going to push that onto you. And a lot of people don't do things because of that reason of other people pushing their opinions and insecurities onto them, and they feel like they can't do stuff.
Yeah.
And I battle with that every day, 100%, but sometimes you got to shut it off and just whatever. Don't care what they
Run
do.
your own race, mate. Run your own race. Well, look, I really hope you keep running your own race.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
really wish you a world of success, mate. I think you're. I'm going to keep an eye on you. I want to see where you get to, because I think you're going to go a long way. Really, like I said, I really appreciate your vulnerability and you coming on today. And look, for anyone that's listening, I'm on a fucking mission to create a new building industry. So if you know other builders, you know tradies, you know people like Grant here, share this podcast, comment, like, do everything you can to get this podcast out so we can continue to be Australia's #1 construction podcast. This has been an absolute cracker, mate.
Thanks for that. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Love what you're doing.
We'll see you on the next one.
Are you ready to build smarter, live better, and enjoy life? Then head over to livelifebuild.com/elevate to get started.
Everything discussed during the Level Up podcast with me, Duayne Pearce, is based solely on my own personal experiences and those experiences of my guests. The information, opinions, and recommendations presented in this podcast are for general information only, and any reliance on the information provided in this podcast is done at your own risk. We recommend that you obtain your own professional advice in respect to the topics discussed during this podcast.